And now, hold on tight, because it's time to dive deep into the rapidly world that is evolving so much that it's AI. Here to help to navigate this AI tsunami and to stay ahead of the game, please welcome co-founder and president of CI&T, Bruno Guicardi.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here again. I debated a lot whether I use the tsunami word in this presentation. I didn't mean to be, alarmist or hyperbolic, right, with all the scare that brings a tsunami, right? But I do think for everybody, if you're here, I don't have to convince you that this will be a big thing, right? Just my conversation here is actually how to respond, how to navigate this tremendous amount of change that will be ahead of us. So I'll just say one thing, right? So it's not going to touch everybody in the same way, right? So certainly in an individual level, will touch everyone here, your leaders and your companies and your enterprises, your knowledge workers. Yes, at an individual level, you better look around and be really current on what's happening. But will not impact every company in the same way, right? In sectors where your assets are heavily physical, like oil and gas, mining, you will not be impacted as much as knowledge-intensive, information-intensive assets like financial services, insurance, or even consumer goods, right? So it's very different how those two worlds will be impacted. And of course, you have time. If you're in oil, gas, mining, you can go back to your phone and start reading emails, you're going to be okay. But if in the other industries, professional services, all others, you better pay attention. Right? So this slide should be called, why the hell should I be listening to this guy? Right? So that's my bragging rights slide. Right? So I'm not from OpenAI, I'm not from Google, so what the heck do I know about what's going to happen and how to respond to this? Right? So I'm a Brazilian by origin, low-key, down-to-earth, typical Brazilian, but I've been living in the US for 15 years. So the bragging thing kind of rubs off on you, so you bear with me for a minute while I will brag about why I feel I kind of can have one or two things to tell you about this, right? So we founded this company when the internet was starting, and that was the first wave that we surfed, right? So we got there, we learned how to swim, how to kind of prepare ourselves for that, and we teach big enterprises to navigate that change. So how to actually catch that wave. And we did this repeatedly. So we did this with the internet, we did this with mobile, we did this with cloud, the first versions of AI, and now we're 2 years in the Gen AI thing. Right? So we've been paddling to catch that wave for 2 years now. And we're not only surviving and not being drowned in the ocean, we're actually thriving. So we started this company, it was just 3 guys out of college, 3 software engineers, and we're reaching almost 7,000 people by the end of this year. So we succeeded in all those waves of transformation. We're able to catch it and improve our services and increase the value that we create for our partners and clients, and we survived. Right? So that's what I think we have one or thing or two to tell about Gen AI. And ourselves in this last wave, again, this is the very beginning. I really encourage you to think we're in the very beginning of this. For our industry, which is software development, will be even more massive than for banking. So we're anticipating a 10x productivity gain the next 5 years. So for us, it's swim or really die. So we are ahead of that curve. We have 80% of our employees and our staffs actually using this on a daily basis and supporting our clients to also bridge that gap. So I encourage you guys to think of this not only as a new tool, as a new technology, right? So there's some types of technology that to be fully explored, to taken fully advantage of, you have to change the way you work. You have to shift your mindset. right? It's not a new programming language. It's not a new thing that you play, that you adapt to your work, right? Unless you really change the way you work and you're open to that, you're not capturing the real value, right? And that makes it hard to adopt. Adoption is very hard because then you're asking people not only to kind of, hey, you just incorporate this thing in your work, you have to change mindset, you have to change behavior. And that's not, classrooms, stay there for 3 days and learn how to do this. You only change your behavior when you have a different experience with that thing, right? So it takes time and it's hard. So for ourselves, think of the Geoffrey Moore crossing the chasm type of thing. The early adopters in any organizations, including ours, we thought we could say that it was higher, but every organization has 5 to 15% of early adopters that are your risk takers that will actually jump into it and take risks and embrace that new thing. The other 85 to 90%, they will be just waiting for what happens, right? And for us, it wasn't different. We actually started this 2 years ago, and we thought, oh, this is really, for us, it's going to be massive transformation in the software development space. We have to jump into it. Everybody will recognize it. This time will be different. And it wasn't. We did everything right from the beginning, established the governance, opened everybody to the tools, gave access, got to create all the guardrails, and guess how much of our people actually embrace it right away? 10%. And the other 90% was there, okay, how I handle this, right? So they actually have to kind of have a different strategy to take them through that journey. And I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. So we have a lot of places to start, right? This technology has different use cases. You have automation, augmentation, hyper-personalization, a lot of possibilities, right? So where to start, right? Before we go there, I wanted to share with you a fundamental principle that we have used in previous transformations waves that really worked and actually is the driver on how we organize ourselves, right? I love this author that writes about cultural change called Edgar Schein. Published many books on how you change a culture, how to change behavior. And he explains culture in a very simple way. Culture is the way we do things around here, right? Here being a country, an organization, even a big department, right? So that's the way we do things around here, right? And why? Why we do things that way? Because we were successful, or we're happier doing things that way in the past. This is the way it works, right? So it creates an implicit and tacit knowledge about how things must be done. So if you take that as true, the only way you can change behavior or a culture is by introducing a new way of work that works better than the previous way. Otherwise, that change will not stick, will not be lasting change. People can, I'm doing this, but it's not actually creating real impact or making me happier. It's not going to stick. It's going to go away. It's going to fade out. So that's the principle that we always look for when we're actually facing those huge transformations. So my advice to you, and that's what being advice on our clients to follow, is to start where you can create impact fast. Where you can create impact the fastest, the more safe way. Right? And this, invariably, most of use cases that we started are more internally faced use cases. Right? The classical software development, using software development, using customer support, right? Help your customer support, your salespeople, not into the shiny objects that are, the hyper-personalization, the transformative shiny objects. Why? Because those will probably require a lot of resources and a lot of conviction and trust that you can move that a year and years ahead, right? And then you lose steam pushing for long-term things. So the strategy we've been running with our clients actually focus on the mundane, on the boring, but great results. Most of our clients that have been applying that strategy, they didn't have any budget for Gen AI experimentations in 2024. They carve out budgets for this just by the productivity gains that were actually achieved during the year. For one client, for one big client that we have, we saved 200,000 man-hours in software development just this year. No budget, you increase productivity by 30, 50%. You find that budget just there. And you achieve something, you create impact, and then you move on. Right? Then create enthusiasm, create energy towards the change for more shinier objects. You understand that there's a lot of options here for you guys, right? So reduce your portfolio for the shiny objects to 20%. Focus 80% on what you can achieve value right now, and it tends to be more on the internal things. They will not be sustainable over time because the tools that you're using, your competitors probably will be using as well in 6 months, 12 months, whatever. But they will tie the game with you soon, right? But the path to the shiny objects is actually through the mundane. That's the strategy we're using. And you have time to reach the shiny objects, to really change your user interfaces, to have, in banking we're discussing super cool use cases like, voice-activated commands, like people transferring funds from, by just human interfaces. You have like the whole, marketing of one, right, hyper-personalization, super laser-focused messages, right? Super cool use cases, but they're down the road. They're super risky as well. And guess what? Consumers are not demanding that, right? That tide hasn't turned yet. So I'm showing here how it happened with mobile. I think it's a good proxy of what will happen with this consumer technology. Remember, this is a consumer technology. People are using ChatGPT and Gemini every day, right? What will happen is that their expectations will change. Their expectations will increase. It's not there yet. We don't have critical mass yet. ChatGPT has 200 million users, right? But when they reach 500 million users, 1 billion users, like it happened with mobile, and when their expectations change, they will come to your companies and say, hey, how come, like happened with mobile, how come you're not in here in my phone? How come you don't have this? So this is not there yet, right? No one is demanding your companies, hey, where's your voice-activated interface? They're not asking for that, but they will. They will, and then the time will run out very quickly. Then we'll be playing catch-up. Right? So now is the time that you can start flexing your muscles, start doing stuff more internally focused, but building that competence internally, creating confidence in your organizations, so you're ready when that game starts to play. Because then we'll be, and again, that's technology. We've never seen a technology changing so fast and evolving so fast. Don't worry about that. Like the old joke says, you don't need to outrun the lion. You just have to outrun everybody else that's running from the lion, right? But you have to keep moving. So how to prepare? Really quick. I'm running out of my time here. Really quick. So usually how we do transformations, we kind of, most organizations that we've seen, our clients, they try and repeat that mistake over and over. They dilute support. Oh, there's a big transformation coming. Oh, let's train 20,000 people. Train, classroom training, 3-4 days. Here's your new job description. Go and do it. There's 6 coaches here to support in a hotline. Just ask them if you need any help. And go and fly. Go and surf this new tsunami that you never surfed in your life. Right? That doesn't work. What we've seen working is actually if you have a support group, if you're early adopters, people that know how to do it, deploy them, concentrate support. Deploy them with, in some areas, not everybody. Don't try to push the whole company. Focus in small areas and make sure they are successful. Make sure that you're creating impact. And then the impact travels. Then you use, you start on those where people are kind of pulling change, right? And then you amplify that success. You use FOMO. You use corporate jealousy. The hardest thing we've seen is try to deal with detractors. There's a lot of detractors. Steer away from them. Look for people that actually, are pulling change, that are open to change, that have big challenges or big problems. You have a tool that can in part 2x, 3x, 5x of integration impact. You're going to help them succeed if you actually concentrate support. And then when they are successful, then it just takes the CIO in a town hall say, hey, you see, Team X is kicking ass right now. Yeah? And then the detractors will look at, oops, I thought I was killing it here. Now Team X is killing it. I want to know what that team is doing. So you create that jealousy, you create FOMO, and then people will start pulling the change. Because pushing change on that scale, in that environment where there's fear, where there's uncertainty, it just doesn't work. And I'll finish with that. Thank you so much. Hope you learned something today.